If you're on a trademark journey, you need to be aware of two major stumbling blocks: absolute and relative grounds for refusal of trademark. It's important to understand these concepts and plan your next steps accordingly. The idea of absolute grounds for refusal might seem a bit more complex. To put simply, it means that your mark is unregisterable in and of itself. We'll delve deeper into this. As for relative grounds for refusal, these come into play if your mark is deemed too similar to a previously registered one. For more information on this, check out video 22 of this channel. The term absolute may not give much away at first glance, but in essence, refusal on absolute grounds means that your trademark can't be registered due to inherent defects, and not because of potential conflicts with prior registrations. The upside? The fate of your trademark's registration now rests entirely in your hands, and you don't have to worry about infringing on the trademark rights of any third parties. Let's explore further into the concept of one of the fundamental absolute grounds for refusal: lack of distinctiveness. A trademark, as mentioned before, must be distinctive enough to differentiate your products or services from others. If your mark is too generic, simple, or commonplace, it may be deemed as lacking distinctiveness. For instance, consider a yellow box appearing on an umbrella. Would you immediately think of it as a trademark of the umbrella or just a decoration? Similarly, if you see a single letter L on a piece of clothing, would your first thought be that it indicates large size instead of being a trademark? This extends to a slogan, a sound mark, or a three-dimensional mark as well. Unless you are well informed by the brand, you might unlikely identify them as a trademark. Applying the same logic, if you tried to register a simple geometric shape, like a circle or a square, devoid of any additional distinguishing features, it could also be refused on the same grounds. So remember, in the trademark universe, it's not about being common, but about standing out from the rest. Make sure your trademark is distinctive, unique, and effectively signifies your brand. Now we come to the second issue: descriptiveness. Imagine you're walking through a shopping mall and you spot a Prada bag. How would you describe it? Elegant? Classic? Beautiful? Now what if I took your descriptor and decided to use beautiful as the trademark for my handbag retail business? Seems odd, doesn't it? Let's take it a step further. If you're a fellow bag retailer, you'd have to tread carefully while using the word beautiful in relation to your products, fearing an infringement on my beautiful trademark. Fortunately, legal systems have our backs. They've set a standard that if a mark simply describes the attributes or properties of the goods or services it's associated with, can't be registered as a trademark. However, the real world is rarely black and white. Some trademarks are merely deemed suggestive, requiring a dash of imagination to connect the mark with the product's qualities, and these are usually approved for registration. The final definitive reason for rejection we'll investigate pertains to contravening morality. In the realm of trademarks, this fundamentally implies that a mark could face rejection if it is considered offensive, immoral, or against societal norms. This encompasses marks that are discriminatory, advocate unlawful activities, or are otherwise deemed improper. You desire a trademark that distinguishes your brand while also respecting societal norms and principles. Keep in mind that a trademark serves as your brand's facade, and you want that facade to be one that your prospective customers can honor and trust. In reality, however, it's often challenging to draw a clear boundary due to its subjective nature and its strong correlation with local culture and openness. Let's illustrate this with a challenge. If you were an examiner, would you authorize a skull design mark to be registered for Class 14 covering watches? The public's opinion may be divided. Some might find the mark displeasing, albeit not necessarily revolting. However, another group, usually the younger and more liberal generation, might establish a unique affection and connection with this skull design mark. As the number of trademarks on the register continues to grow, we notice that occasionally negative words or devices are adopted as trademarks. This can communicate a contrasting yet intriguing impression that inevitably draws attention. Excluding blatant cases, it could be argued that a trademark should not be rejected on these grounds. Now, we've explored various absolute grounds for refusal, but it's time to shed some light on a silver lining: the concept of acquired distinctiveness. This is a game changer in the world of trademarks. In essence, a mark that is initially considered non-distinctive or descriptive can eventually gain distinctiveness through long-term use and recognition by the public. Think of it as a brand's evolution over time. Imagine a simple yellow box that you've chosen to represent your umbrella brand. Initially, it may not be distinctive enough to be registered as a trademark, but with consistent marketing efforts and sales, you can educate your audience to associate this yellow box exclusively with your brand. Over time, this yellow box may achieve acquired distinctiveness, turning a once ordinary geometric shape into a powerful symbol for your brand. But remember, this transformation doesn't happen overnight. It requires strategic planning, continuous branding efforts, and most importantly, patience. Just as a human being can change and grow, so can a brand's trademark. So don't be disheartened if your chosen mark is initially refused registration on absolute grounds. It's not the end of your brand's journey, it may be just a bump in the road. And with the right strategy, you may turn these bumps into stepping stones, leading your brand to greater heights.